Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. From NFL News Now, the Philadelphia Eagles season continues to teeter on the edge of frustration and unfulfilled expectations as their latest performance only deepens the concerns surrounding their offense. Fresh off a heartbreaking collapse against the Dallas Cowboys, where a 21-point lead evaporated like morning fog, the Eagles returned to the field facing the Chicago Bears and suffered another disappointing defeat with this loss. The Eagles now sit at 8 wins and 4 losses, a record that seems far less reflective of the team's potential than it did at the start of the season. The offense, once a highlight of Philadelphia's game plan, has faltered dramatically, leaving fans, analysts, and even teammates scratching their heads. At the center of this ongoing struggle is quarterback Jalen Hurts, who, by all accounts, played one of his worst games in recent memory. Hurts' inconsistency has been widely discussed, but whispers have started to circulate about something perhaps even more concerning: the possibility that Hurts may be hesitant or even unwilling to fully embrace his role as a dynamic runner within the offense. The conversation surrounding Hurts' relationship with designed quarterback runs gained traction after the Eagles lost to the Bears. Jimmy Kempski, a respected reporter with Philly Voice, offered a quote that has sparked considerable discussion among fans and insiders alike. Kempski revealed that Hurts does not love having a lot of designed QB runs in the game plan, a statement that carries weight when considering the current state of the Eagles' offense. This is particularly striking given that just last season, the Eagles boasted one of the best rushing attacks in the history of the league. The decline has been stark, and while it is true that running back Saquon Barkley has not replicated his previous form, dropping off from a 2,000-yard season, the quarterback's role in facilitating the ground game cannot be overlooked. The implication is clear: if Hurts is reluctant to run or participate fully in the ground game, the offense may never reach its potential, especially during periods when the passing game struggles to find consistency. The Eagles' running game, which was once a dominant force, has completely disappeared this season. Last year, under Hurts' leadership and with Barkley performing at an elite level, the Eagles were one of the most feared rushing teams in football. But in the span of just one season, the offensive line has taken a noticeable step back. Barkley has not maintained his previous explosiveness, and Hurts' involvement has decreased significantly. Looking at historical trends, Hurts' impact on the run game has always been substantial since he became the Eagles' starting quarterback in 2021. Across the 2021 through 2024 seasons, the lowest rushing yards per game recorded by Hurts was 35.6 yards during the 2023 season. That same season also marked his lowest number of rushing attempts per game, at 9.2. Currently, through 12 games this season, Hurts is averaging only 27.4 rushing yards per game on a mere 7 carries. These numbers are telling. When the passing game struggles, the offense must lean on Hurts' legs to create opportunities, maintain balance, and keep defenses honest. Without it, the Eagles' offensive identity feels hollow, one-dimensional, and frankly, incapable of keeping pace with stronger, more versatile teams. It is worth considering why Hurts might shy away from running. The most logical explanation is health preservation. Football, particularly the quarterback position, is unforgiving, and Hurts has shown remarkable durability over his career. Protecting the franchise quarterback from injury is a sensible long-term strategy, especially for a team that harbors playoff ambitions. Yet, this cautious approach has immediate consequences. The Eagles' offense is far from optimal, and there are tangible benefits to integrating more designed QB runs. Hurts has demonstrated he can pick up critical yardage when given the opportunity, as seen in the game against the Bears. On that day, Hurts ran only to designed QB plays, but one came during one of the Eagles' rare successful drives. On that play, he gained 23 yards, a massive contribution that directly resulted in points. Importantly, he executed the run with precision, getting out of bounds and minimizing contact, which shows that effective QB runs do not necessarily equate to reckless endangerment. Instead, they provide a dual benefit. They keep the defense off balance and generate much-needed momentum, while still allowing Hurts to protect his body. The need for a running quarterback is particularly acute in situations where the passing game stalls, when receivers are covered and the offensive line struggles to provide protection. A quarterback who can escape pressure and create yardage with his legs becomes invaluable. Hurts has the tools to do this, yet the current game plan seems to limit his potential. If the Eagles hope to regain the form that made them contenders last season, they will need to find a way to balance Hurts' health concerns with the tactical advantages of a mobile quarterback. The narrative is not solely about individual performance. It is about the collective functionality of the offense when Hurts is fully engaged as a runner. The Eagles' play calling can open up passing lanes, exploit defensive misalignment, and maximize the talents of their skilled players. The absence of this dimension has left Philadelphia predictable and ultimately vulnerable to teams like Dallas and Chicago, who have demonstrated an ability to exploit the Eagles' stagnation. The larger issue extends beyond Hurts himself. The offensive line, while talented, has struggled to recreate the cohesion seen in previous seasons. Barkley, too, has not matched his historic form, adding to the challenge of maintaining a productive ground game. Yet, Hurts' unwillingness to run more frequently exacerbates these deficiencies. In football, balance is critical. Teams that rely excessively on one aspect of the offense risk becoming one-dimensional, and the Eagles' offense currently fits that description. In this context, Hurts' role as a dual-threat quarterback is not merely a personal choice, it is a strategic necessity. By not leveraging his running ability, the Eagles handicap themselves, limiting scoring opportunities and reducing overall offensive efficiency. Potential solutions exist, but they require careful implementation. Coaches could adjust the playbook to incorporate QB runs in a manner that protects Hurts, while still leveraging his skills. Situational runs, option plays, and read option concepts could allow him to generate yardage without exposing him to unnecessary risk. The example against the Bears demonstrates that this approach is possible. Hurts' one well-executed run led to a successful drive and showcased the tangible benefits of incorporating quarterback mobility into the game plan. Expanding this approach could revitalize the Eagles' offense, provide a spark to struggling receivers, and alleviate pressure on the running backs. It could also serve to maintain defensive uncertainty, a critical factor in high-level competition. As the Eagles continue to navigate a season defined by inconsistency and unmet expectations, questions about Hurts' role and willingness to run will only grow louder. Fans and analysts alike are eager to see solutions that do not compromise player health but do restore offensive balance. Changing coaches or personnel might be a long-term option, but in the immediate term, finding ways to get Hurts more involved in the running game is arguably the most practical. An effective adjustment, the team's identity, success, and playoff viability are intertwined with this decision for Jalen Hurts. Embracing his role as a dual-threat quarterback could not only reinvigorate the offense, but also reaffirm his status as a leader capable of carrying the Eagles through adversity. Philadelphia fans are watching closely, hoping for the spark that will return the team to the dominant force it was last season. Whether Hurts will fully embrace design QB runs remains to be seen, but the evidence suggests that doing so might be the key to transforming a struggling offense into a playoff contender once again. The stakes could not be higher. Every game, every play, and every decision shapes the trajectory of the Eagles' season. For a team that has experienced both the highs of elite rushing success and the lows of disappointing losses, the path forward demands adaptation, courage, and a willingness to leverage all available tools, including Hurts' legs. In a league where defenses adapt quickly, hesitation can be costly. Philadelphia's offense must evolve, and the most immediate and impactful step is clear: integrate Jalen Hurts more fully into the run game. Only then can the Eagles hope to reclaim the balance, unpredictability, and dominance that once made them a model of offensive efficiency. Until that change occurs, fans can expect the narrative of frustration and missed opportunities to continue. As the team struggles to bridge the gap between potential and performance, and as the question of Hurts' willingness to run looms over every offensive snap, a subtle but critical variable in the fate of Philadelphia's season. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. Doug Pederson has never been a man to shy away from the truth, but his latest revelation has sent shockwaves through the NFL community and Eagles fans alike. Known for his calm demeanor, strategic brilliance, and the legendary run to a Super Bowl title with Philadelphia, Pederson has built a reputation as a coach who nurtures talent and brings out the best in his players. Yet, in a candid and rather surprising moment during an exclusive interview, he decided to drop a bombshell that no one saw coming. The man who orchestrated some of the most iconic plays in recent NFL history, from daring fourth-down conversions to inventive offensive schemes, didn't hesitate when asked about the toughest challenge of his coaching career, and the answer left everyone in disbelief. He named the worst player he had ever coached with the Eagles. Now, Pederson has always been thoughtful when critiquing players publicly. He's not one to throw names around lightly, and he usually opts for subtlety when discussing struggles within the locker room. But this time, the veteran coach's words carried a weight and directness that seemed almost uncharacteristic of his normally measured approach. The revelation itself sparked a frenzy across social media, with fans speculating, debating, and even defending their favorite Eagles players, as rumors swirled about the identity of the individual in question. What made it even more tantalizing is that Pederson didn't simply label the player as bad in a casual sense. Instead, he described a mix of factors: attitude, work ethic, lack of adaptability, and an inability to grasp the nuances of professional football. At the level required to compete in the NFL, it wasn't just a poor season or a minor slump. According to Pederson, this was a consistent struggle that challenged his coaching philosophy and tested his patience. The context of the statement is equally important. Pederson spoke with an almost nostalgic tone, reflecting on his years in Philadelphia and the highs and lows that come with coaching at the highest level. He recounted the highs with vivid clarity: the Super Bowl run, the development of young quarterbacks, the satisfaction of watching raw talent blossom under his guidance. But then the tone shifted when he spoke about the player who had left a lasting impression for all the wrong reasons. Pederson's words painted a picture of frustration that went beyond the field. There were moments of miscommunication during practice, lapses in focus during meetings, and a seeming inability to execute even the most basic assignments during crucial moments. He spoke of a pattern where effort sometimes existed in bursts but was never sustained, leaving teammates and coaches alike exasperated. For someone who values discipline, preparation, and mental toughness, encountering a player who struggled in all these areas became an exercise in endurance, requiring every ounce of his coaching skill to navigate the situation without disrupting team chemistry. What's fascinating about Pederson's revelation is how it illustrates the often unseen challenges of coaching in the NFL. Fans are accustomed to celebrating superstars, critiquing draft picks, and discussing breakout seasons. But rarely do they get a window into the delicate balancing act coaches perform behind the scenes. Naming the worst player isn't just an act of criticism, it's an acknowledgement of the immense pressures placed on coaches to manage personalities, egos, and skill levels in a highly competitive environment. Pederson's admission hints at the human element of coaching that goes beyond X's and O's, highlighting the emotional labor involved in guiding a roster of elite athletes while maintaining accountability and cohesion. It's a reminder that professional sports, while glamorous on the surface, are also arenas of high stakes, relentless scrutiny, and personal trials that even seasoned coaches like Pederson have to navigate daily. Unsurprisingly, the statement has ignited debates within the NFL community. Analysts, commentators, and former players have weighed in, some defending the unnamed athlete, others sympathizing with Pederson's position. There's speculation about who fits the description: a player with undeniable physical talent but an inconsistent performance record, someone rumored to have struggled with leadership and adapting to the team system. The anonymity adds fuel to the fire as fans dissect past seasons, performances, and off-field stories. Trying to connect the dots, every practice anecdote and game highlight becomes part of the conversation, and the rumor mill churns at full speed. Podcasts, sports talk shows, and fan forums buzz with theories, each more colorful than the last, with some even suggesting that this revelation could rewrite how we view certain players' legacies in Philadelphia. What makes this story particularly gripping is Pederson's delivery. He didn't speak from a place of malice or bitterness, but rather from a reflective stance. As though sharing a lesson learned over years of coaching, he acknowledged the players' potential, even expressing hope that they would find success elsewhere. Yet he couldn't shy away from the fact that this particular individual tested his limits like no other. The coach's tone struck a balance between honesty and professionalism, a tightrope act that reveals the complexity of leadership at this level. It's one thing to call out performance in a game or criticize strategy, but entirely another to address the intangible qualities that define a player's contribution or lack thereof to a team. Pederson's revelation serves as a case study in the subtle, often invisible challenges that shape coaching careers and the trajectory of NFL rosters over time. Moreover, this admission has a ripple effect beyond mere gossip. It provokes questions about team culture, player development, and the pressures inherent in a league where the margin for error is razor thin. coaches like Pederson must constantly assess talent, motivate diverse personalities, and implement game plans that exploit strengths while mitigating weaknesses. Encountering a player who consistently underperforms or fails to mesh with the system is not just an inconvenience, it can influence the success of the team, the morale of teammates, and even the strategic approach to entire seasons. Pederson's revelation invites fans to consider these nuances and challenges the simplistic narratives often presented in mainstream coverage, reminding everyone that professional football is as much about human dynamics as it is about athletic prowess. The broader context also raises interesting implications for the player themselves. Being identified, even indirectly, by a Hall of Fame caliber coach as the worst can impact perceptions, contract negotiations, and future opportunities. Yet Pederson's framing critical but measured also provides a potential path for redemption, emphasizing that failures within one environment do not preclude growth elsewhere. This duality, the tension between criticism and encouragement, mirrors the delicate balance of sports culture, where public perception can swing wildly and reputations can be reshaped by a single statement. Fans now watch closely, wondering whether this player will embrace the challenge, transform their approach, or remain a cautionary tale in discussions of NFL coaching experiences. As the rumor continues to circulate, it also opens a larger conversation about leadership in professional sports. Pederson's experience underscores the reality that coaching elite athletes is not just about strategy, it's about managing expectations, cultivating mental toughness, and navigating personalities that can range from disciplined to mercurial. The unnamed player becomes a symbol of the obstacles every coach faces, a reminder that even championship-caliber teams encounter friction, inconsistencies, and the occasional puzzle that challenges even the most capable minds. In this light, Pederson's revelation transcends mere gossip. It's a candid acknowledgement of the difficulties that come with leading a team in one of the most demanding sports environments in the world. In the end, Doug Pederson's surprising admission captures the imagination because it touches on the unexpected realities of professional football. Fans are used to the highlight reels, the draft picks, the sensational plays, and the triumphant victories, but rarely do they glimpse the moments of struggle, doubt, and frustration that shape the careers of coaches and players alike. By naming the worst player he ever coached with the Eagles, Pederson has opened a window into the complexities of leadership, the limits of talent, and the intricate dynamics of a locker room where personalities clash, egos collide, and perseverance is constantly tested. The story lingers, sparking endless debate, speculation, and reflection, proving that even in a league dominated by statistics and scores, the human element remains the most compelling narrative of all. Whether the unnamed player will rise to future challenges or remain a footnote in NFL lore, Pederson's candid revelation ensures that the conversation will continue to captivate fans, analysts, and insiders for years to come. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.